Emergency Workshop Monday, March 8th, 2021 begin.
You ready for me, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I got y'all some handouts here, and I think I got all of y'all one as well. Let's go to the engagement letter first. This is not the final engagement letter. There's a few things that need to be corrected on there that I picked up right away. It's the same one I emailed to y'all Friday or Saturday. I can't remember when I sent it to you, but anyway, if you look on page 1, you'll see where it says Jackson Hospital. And that obviously, so we know they must have allowed sometimes where that should be Liberty County School Board. But there's some other places we would need a chairman to sign off, not just me, but actually the board chair would need to be as representative of the board on there. Just some minor little things. Jackson's got a copy. He's reviewing it as well. But this kind of tells you what our engagement with them would be. It talks about fees, payment schedule, the term of the contract, a lot of legal jargon that I'm going to let Bob Harris look at as well. Like I said, I just got this on Friday. I guess it's late Friday afternoon or Thursday. I can't remember. When did we meet? Was it Thursday? Yeah. Okay. But, so anyway, if you got any questions, just let me know if you see something in there that doesn't fit. And I have not looked at it line by line. I just saw that. It just kind of stared out to me. But one of the things in here, if you go to the time frame, put together a time frame of kind of what we need to be doing and in the months we need to be doing them. Ken, did you get a copy of this?
Yeah.
And kind of lets you know what we need to do. And we're right on schedule. But we don't have any time to waste, so we've got to be rolling because they around July, August, they get ready to announce who is getting ready to get this. So anyway, the biggest thing we need to do, I would say from a preparation standpoint, one of the things that Sheila's going to her office will have to do is forward past 3 years of audited financial statements. They'll need to know that, or Eric will need to do that. I'll refer to him as our consultant because that's what he's going to be. But the first thing that is really kind of out of the gate is to define what project. I've talked with some of y'all about that. It's just really important to understand that the funding is not based on the project that we're trying to get the money for. It's the money is based on the project we've already finished. So the funding is based on the $24 million or whatever what was fine, was it 24 something? Okay, so let's just call it 24 million. That was the cost of the new high school. So that's what qualifies us for this money. But we do have to have a project. Now we don't have to feel pressure. We don't have to be under some kind of obligation to say, okay, so if we qualify for, and I'll just use a conservative figure. Let's just say $2 million, which I think is going to be substantially higher. But if we said, if we qualify for $2 million, we don't have to come up with a $2 million project. And that's been well established. I've talked with him in detail about that. But we do have to have something in the hopper to present to them as a project by using this money that is based on 24 million that we're moving forward with. Now, this is what we need to discuss. So I'll know how to kind of move forward on this. And Kevin mentioned this other day, is we have that building out there, which is the old basketball pavilion, which, is a solid structure made through Hurricane Michael. A lot of it had to do because of the walls on it, but the wind could easily got up under ribbon. It did well. So you got a roof, you got a slab, you got trusses. Is the possibility of converting that. And here's a good thing: the proximity of that building. Does everybody know where I'm going about? We'll make sure you don't ask. It's in a very close proximity to the vocational wing of the high school. So you literally just kind of ride around. They can drive from there to there, or the students can walk there. That's another blessing of having the high school there. Everything's within walking distance. Football field, softball field, baseball field. They can get there and utilize those properties for stuff, during the day if need be. But those students can come around there and utilize that. So one of the things we need to do is figure out, and so Greg Kelly's going to come Friday. And I had talked to you because I just talked to him a little while ago. Greg's going to try to come Friday and meet if Kevin, Jeff, if we're available to go out there and kind of discuss, because he'll know more how to tell us, okay, this is length by width, y'all can get 2 classrooms out of this, or 2 shops, or 2 whatever. We need to figure out what can we use it for from a square footage perspective, you know. And then, you know, they figure it on student stations, how many.
I got several questions on that.
Okay, and so what we can do is, and again, that's something that is open for debate, but we've got something there that we can do something with. Right now, it's just kind of a storage area over there for stuff that's, you know, it's just there. So what we can discuss is what we want to do with it, size, scope, and all that. But we will not put an entire, and again, if the $2 million is that, we would put $2 million in it. But what we want to do, and I don't know if this is a good stop, but we want to go over your list that you had.
So let me out of that, if you don't mind, Mr. Petty, ask you a quick question, because I've been thinking about this.
Yeah.
The 18 months,
It's quick. That is too quick.
So, well, I got several questions. Can it be a project that's already started? And I'll show you where we're going with this. If it can, and it doesn't have to be, we'd be better off to finish the football field house and then take the rest of the money. And then when we got time, do a vocational program. Or, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a tough time building something in 18 months. With COVID.
Yeah, it has to be spent. He's correct. He's absolutely correct.
So that's my next question. Does the new project, if we start a new project and we spend all the money for it to complete, can we do that? Does it have to be a finished project? The reason I'm saying is you could pay, I'm gonna use Mr. Chuck for instance. You could pay him to build that vocational lab. Just have to pay it before we finish it.
I didn't understand it that way.
So I'm just, it doesn't have to be a finished project. Because, and then the, and this is, you just made a touch base on this, does it have to, is it connected to student stations?
No, it is not connected to student stations.
So then when you get Greg Kelly over here, it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter. But what I was saying with him is he would know how to say,
Yeah, I can take,
you can make 2 out of that.
I can take square footage of it. I mean, it's on fish.
Right, but I'm saying he may be able to say, kind of based on what we've done over here, you get 2 classrooms in a shop, 2 shops in a classroom, those kind to maximize the square footage.
Kevin's opinion is finish football field house. And then do,
Make that the project.
make that the project, because we can finish it in 18 months.
And then we'll go
But
with
then you still got 1.8 million budget spent on whatever.
You gotta
Still
spend all
got-
of it,
still
whether it's on
got
the project.
spend on
Well, and that's where you want to segue into your list. Okay, so let's segue into that. That's a good question. Kevin's created this list. This is not a new list. He has purged some of this. And some of this stuff we might could even purge tonight if we wanted to. One of them being the ROTC new roof. That was one thing that we talked about, had it on there, but we kind of decided, I feel like y'all as a board to leave the roof the color it is. All it would be changing the different kind of tin, and the tin don't bother me. I think we kind of talked about that. But there are some, you know, and this is not a be all end all list. We may think of other things, but just this list is, you know, over $1 million of items that would really bring our facilities up to par that I believe could be done within 18 months.
Oh, yeah, yes, that.
This would be that kind of list, you know, and it's a lot of purchasing items and whatnot for
I'm
our
just saying,
students.
build something new, 18 months, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I don't know how you could do that. I mean, you gotta be rolling for something like that, but I'm open. You know, the thing is you've got to connect it, I believe, from my conversation with Eric was something to do with student learning. Now that's what they're saying, that's what they're telling me. Now, you can, again, Kevin brought this up at the workshop, I think he was at the workshop. You can say, we do a class out there
At Fieldhouse.
At Fieldhouse, you know, that we have a physical training facility out there. We do some teaching out there.
That's the reason I asked with the tied to sewage station. Well, if it's not tied to sewage stations, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, but it's in the ranking of it.
Okay.
It's in the ranking.
Well, he said vocational was, I mean, can you, because at one point we talked about if it moves forward, the timeline would be February, kind of like the funds
Correct.
would be work. But we would know closing like November. Is that what you got from November?
Yes.
So would you know then that you're gonna get the funds and can you start maybe that with knowing you're gonna get the funds? That's just an additional few months. I don't know.
CRA can't draw the plans. When you say a building, they're not gonna start until you go.
But we have to provide plans.
I know, that's the reason I said the football field has already happened.
Yeah,
And
What it costs you, one penny.
we're talking about student stations, but this funding is used for all kinds of different
it
projects
is.
that don't have students. And if we include student stations, does that make our ranking go?
Well, that's,
up, or
that
does
would
it-
be my question.
That's-
Doesn't matter if we ask for it and we don't get it.
They don't use the term student stations. We see that with DOE and special facilities funding, because that determines
Right.
the size and scope of your facility. But they do tie it to what you're doing at school. So that's a question I need to, I was told that you'll have a higher ranking if you say, we got a new high school, we want to add on some kind of vocational training.
All you gotta do is add, Coach Sewell's, Coach Jordan's, any of those coaches,
Put a weight class out there.
weight class out there, that's solid in that field house. The 18 months is scary now, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's a lot to finish a new project. That's when that have to be finished. I mean, that's a lot.
I think this is done on a that you submit what you have and then they pay you out of this grant. I don't think it's, you get it on the front end.
I think the field house, we already have the
You
plans.
got your money.
Y'all got a minute, let's call
Sure.
it. Let's do that.
We already have the plans and everything for the field house.
Yeah.
That'd be easy, and then we.
I just want it to be as competitive as if
Well, I
it's a
understand.
vocational, if it's on that basis. We want to get the money, and we might could do, I'm like you, the
But
18 months.
if you can't finish the project, and you don't get the money, then we're stuck. So I mean,
Well-
you ain't getting it. I mean, you gotta think about that. I mean,
18
Well,
months. is
what about
enough.
that?
What did they do in Jackson? What was their big problem in Jackson County?
See, they used it, if I remember right, they used it to go against what they owed on.
Yeah.
on this, they used it, the new, the school.
They
That was like we
Agreed.
got the extra 6 million, they got this extra money, you know.
To help finish their
Help
school.
finish the school.
Yeah,
They was like us, gonna have stuff uncompleted, you know.
You're talking about $200,000 in the field house.
but they're,
So, I mean, that's just a drop of money.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but then you can spend the rest of it on this list. I mean, really, that, if y'all, any of y'all's been to RGC, it needs to be painted and it's performing bad. It really does.
So if our main project for learning purposes, what's left, we spend on this list.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we can do all of it in.
And y'all might have stuff you want to put on, this is just what the board had worked on, you know,
Well,
months
that's
ago.
something like this. Just purchasing stuff.
Hey, Eric, Kyle Petty, Liberty County, how you doing?
Yes, sir, I'm good. How are you, Kyle?
I'm good. I got you on speakerphone. We are in workshop again discussing, do you have a moment to answer a few questions?
I do.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so one of the questions we have, and then I'll add a follow-up. How are we paid? For example, the 18 months is a challenge, I think, for anybody. Our facilities director, thinks that's a real challenge, and we all are in agreement with that. Do you have to have the project completed to get the money?
No, so what happens is that the money will be deposited into a construction draw here at closing. You have 18 months to spend it. If you can't spend it within 18 months, you're probably getting this non-match extension that will extend to 24 months. That's what the closing is. So we're closing next February, and we need to have 2 years to spend that. If that's still not enough time after 2 years, then they'll distribute out whatever is left of the account to you. Assuming it's fairly minor, at closing, you'll be able to pay for any ongoing expenses that have not yet been paid for.
Okay.
Generally speaking, it's control of the cash. They want to make sure there's control on the cash. You can't just go out and just use it for whatever you want. But there's 18 months as the standard time period. You have up to 24 months. There are special rules out there that says you could have 36 months in extreme circumstances. that 24 months is generally what I tell people is kind of the maximum stretch from the closing date until when the costs are incurred. So, and just one more thing, which is that in order to close, generally speaking, everything has to be done for all projects that we're going to define as what we're going to need the money for. That would include architectural drawings, engineering, permitting, everything else. So you're ready to put shovels in the ground the next day. That's the general idea.
Okay, so my follow-up question to that, and then I'm gonna allow, if the board wants to ask a question, we can have some time for that. If we already have a project, we started a project 6 years ago, 7 years ago, a football field house that could also be used for a myriad of other things for class. It's a huge building. We started that project, run out of money. We were using inmate labor to do that in the summer. It's been sitting there. It's got block walls are done. It's framed. It's got a roof on it. It needs finishing. If we wanted to, would it hurt us if we? And here's the advantage. If we could use that building, we already have those engineered plans for that. And we're thinking about a time frame of trying to get another company to engineer plans and how long that would take on this other building. But if we're still wanting to do something with that other building, but what we were thinking, can we use this building, even though it's kind of right now designated a field house, we can still use that for educational purposes. Would that hurt us in a ranking situation as opposed to putting on there a vocational building for education?
No, but a vocational building is always a nice thing for community development entities because vocational training is something that is a priority for CDE. So would it hurt? Probably, but it would make some impact from a marketing standpoint for me. But I think I can probably still sell a few of that. Vocational training would be preferred because it's easy to sell. It's easier to sell vocational training to CDEs because it's a priority to get people trained so they can go out to work in the workforce.
Gotcha.
That's always a good thing. But if that causes headaches for you, then
So the 20.
I maybe a little bit.
So the 24 months, we could extend that 24 months if we went the route with the vocational build, if that is our best option.
That's correct.
Okay, that helps us profusely.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
You asked about student session.
Yeah.
Vocational.
Board, any other questions? Okay, we're reviewing the engagement letter and going over your time frame that we have. So we're discussing that, and so that's what we're talking. So we're talking about rolling on, but I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, that's right.
Eric, any questions? Okay, Eric, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye.
I've got, do we have a plan for the old basketball court out there?
Yes, sir.
We already got structural plans and,
No, not for that.
huh?
You talking about for the old basketball pavilion?
Yeah,
No, that's what I was talking about meeting with Greg Kelly on Friday.
well, but we had that bill, there should be plans somewhere.
Before my time.
Yeah, but it'd
The
be.
floor and the structural
It'd
plan.
be just plans for what it is. You have to draw a whole new set.
For what it's gonna be.
And the first thing you would do would be like the old horse arena. The first thing you have to do is get a structural engineer to come out and sign off on the wind
Yeah.
load. If he won't sign off on the wind load, then that's out of the
That's
question.
out of the question, I
That's the
understand
first
that.
thing that's gonna happen. If he won't sign off on the wind load, then you're going to pick something else. No question about
And
it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because here's another thing. We gotta be very careful. I know Sheila will amen this point. We can't front a lot of money. We don't have a lot of money. We don't really have money to front all these things with,
Yeah,
to say, come do this, that, and the other, and they charge you 10 grand to.
Right.
But anyway, we don't have that money to front right now. So some of this is, and what I'm gonna need to do is to go through and make sure because, you know, with our operational audit, we had an issue about advertising for, architectural services. We kind of have to go back through that a little bit. Greg's coming out of the goodness of his heart to kind of discuss what we're talking about, but we'll probably have to advertise for that. Those are the things that take time, but we need to get them. I want him to look at it and give me some ideas on, is it doable? But, I'm open. He said he could make that field house work, which does not mean we can't still do something with the building.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a timing thing, you know, but now if he gives us 24 months and possibly 36 months, then that's a game changer.
But what does that do for you, 24 months?
Well, that may be a lot, but here's what Mr. Petty just said, understand now, if you hire CRA to come over, you're going to pay them. And that's, they ain't cheap, so
Well-
$1 million dollars on that high school,
How much?
million, that's a lot of money.
It's a percentage of the
Yes.
project
That's a
cost.
lot, so understand, you're gonna have to upfront that, hoping you get the grant to get reimbursed. Or not.
And I told him I asked him, I said, Greg, do you know about the new market tap? Yes, I do. So I don't, you know, we gotta see what they're willing to do or
You know,
not
Mr.
do.
Dan Rutherford, he's the owner, is he willing to take that chance with us and wait and get paid at the end? That's the question.
That's the question there.
Contingent, it's all contingent.
And the other thing is, can we tag team off of the high school project, since this is at the high school, and I have to go through the, you know,
Right.
the advertising process. Would you rather re-advertise? Okay. Yeah, we can do it. Right, right. And I'm fine with that. I'm gonna do it right.
That's really our suggestion of field house. I know takes a little bit off, but you got any out of pocket expense. Or you got plans. Doug Schuler drove those up for us years ago.
Right.
So, you know, I know I mean, we might have to tie something to it. You can tie classrooms to it, a vocational to it. Don't mean it has to stay like that. You understand? I mean, like DOE would fish, we change stuff all the time. This is initial what we're gonna do. But a year from now, it might be strictly field house.
It might just be an announcement.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I know that's still playing the game.
Yes,
You can make that happen.
Yeah, you know, I agree with trying to tie.
Sports
Yeah,
medicine.
you can call it a sports medicine, which, have y'all walked through it? I walked through it. It's nice. It's huge. That sucker's nice. I mean, it's depressing.
You could easily put a vocational class in.
Let me ask you,
Easy.
let me ask you a question. With Lively or Chipotle, these, could they come over
Nursing,
and,
nursing.
either nursing or sports medicine, an introductory class to sports medicine and put in that too?
Yes. Absolutely.
100%.
I mean, and they wouldn't have to come every day, like, you know, 2 days, 3 days a week.
So it's got a visitors and a home side. You can leave the home there, let the visitors use the open and turn the other half into what you just said. And be done. If you try to put some vocational like welding or something like that, it's got a lot of electrical issues that you have to go back and change. But something that just uses regular plugs.
Let me ask you this, and I'm just throwing ideas out there now. If we go with the vocational basketball court, if we decided we was gonna put construction, carpentry, plumbing, and electrical in there, how much would we wiring and plumbing would we have to put inside that building, other than building walls? And you can build walls out of metal or block walls.
Right now, wood's probably higher
Yeah, wood's probably the high, but
than.
I mean, you can use the metal, or lay block, and you can go in there and petition. I don't know if you can lay blocks across the inside, because they can put it underneath.
But the slab's probably thick enough, you know, that, there's gonna have to be some tests done. I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
The always gotta bring it to you, right? Because it's something.
that's.
Well, it's probably got to be on the outside.
But if you put walls, that's another issue.
That was the question I want Greg to look at. He said he would come by and look at, kind of tell us, give us some ideas on what it could be.
Yeah, I mean, we could put 4 walls up, big garage door on one end of it, call it a vocational building. Build tiny houses and build tiny houses in there.
You can do that.
But that's the thing, I don't know if we wanted to do one, or could you partition it off and make 2?
It's big enough to make 2.
I think you can make two things.
And you might could, but you don't need, you might not need to do it to start off with.
Right.
Right. Just do
Build
what you
an
got to do
outside
to get the
wall.
money, is what basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, even if we do that, get the money and it's
You
all
make-
in there, we still got the list here.
Right.
Make
We
sure
got
you
24 months. Spend money.
Understand that that
Yes.
building, if you completely finish it and put 2 classrooms, it's gonna eat up 99% of your money. I'm just telling you. As high as stuff is right now, it's
Well, the
very,
question
very
is,
high.
how much, it's kind of like vocational was selling point, but I don't know how much it would be affect getting it or not.
That's where you're gonna have to turn that field house.
Yeah.
Field house, put one in a vocational, other in a football, and the visitors use the old field house. No problem.
All that is vocational.
They call that vocational building. That's easy,
Forward moves.
whatever.
Or
You
no.
just call it vocational. They might not need to know it's gonna be sports
Right.
medicine,
Right.
shot, you know, I don't know.
Vocational is a big umbrella.
You gotta have
Yeah.
a plan for it,
That's what
plan and drawing, and I know.
Who's got the
I know
plan?
what the thing is.
I had them at bus barn at one time, but Doug Schuler, who, when y'all was talking to Mr. Hughes, talking about getting another set, and see if he still got it on PDF. I used to, I'd have to look. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I went by today and
For
looked
the
at it.
field house.
Yes. Doug, I'd say,
He
you
drew.
know, since he's already done that, if we need any additional stuff, probably let him do it. It'd be cheaper than somebody starting completely over.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
yeah.
But they would need to be redone to mirror what we're talking about. What I'm saying, it would need to say on there vocational buildings,
Yes, yes.
whatever, it would have to be a new rendering of sorts.
How much room, I couldn't tell you, outside of where Tyler's classroom, there's some slab out there.
Mhm.
Yeah, how much of that is covered? Could you, I don't know, the plan, could you just put a covering over that slab?
You talking about over the old Bristol, that's the old.
Yeah, right outside of where Tyler's room is.
Hey,
That'd be
I know it's
covered,
not
it'd be
be outside of-
Could you do like an awning or covering over that?
I think it's one with a pole bar.
Well, that would be something simple, and you could turn it into an area where they could work and do some different things under there. It might not be, I don't know what
Are
there
you
is.
talking about the old pod or where he's got the additional concrete?
I'm talking about the additional concrete is
Yeah,
off
he's
his
talking about
room,
up on
off of his room, right?
Right there off his room where you come out the garage.
I mean, that could fall under a structure could assist vocational. I don't know, and it might not be as time consuming. I'm just trying to think of a way to tie, maybe something to help the program, and then also help us sell.
Lower level is where it's to be.
it. That's where he wants to put his greenhouse.
But would it be easier to tie that, well, of course, you have to wait.
But understanding all that down there, it's not wind load rated, so you have to tear every bit of that up. It'll work for a greenhouse and a pole barn, but it won't work for the.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like a full, I'm just saying
You're
something.
talking about lean to.
I'm just talking, or just, like like you see those metal, cover like a covered walkway just to go
Yeah,
over
we'll
with
get Mr. Lawrence, that does all our walkways, come here, feel a nice
covered
covered
area.
area for vacation.
You could put equipment under there or whatever. you
He
need to
just
do.
said another way to time the vacation.
Right, and it would be a full
Anybody
blown,
would feel-
and after that, you could maybe
Right.
close it or whatever you need to do.
Let me ask this question, Kevin, there's $200,000 on here to finish the field house. You
That's a
want
rough
to finish
estimate, that's up higher probably now.
50,000, another 100,000?
Well, just a few years ago, it was 140,000.
It's steady.
Lumber's about double right now.
I'm kind of leaning toward the field house and finishing it, getting it finished. And February, we find out if we got the money, then getting on everything else.
You know, then you can take the extra money, you know, when y'all getting other money as well, you got the softball, house session, you gotta do. You know, don't be on the time budget then.
But this is my only hesitation. This has to be sold to and he's right. Vocational ed is something, it's a real priority with us, and it's a real buzzword today.
Well, he said he thought he could sell it,
But he said he thought he could do it.
but what if we call it vocational?
But yeah, he's right. He insinuated that vocational was a slam dunk.
But if we call it vocational, then it should be an
I
issue.
agree.
It's gotta be a program we would utilize, right, use. I don't know how much there is in that as far as CTE. I don't know if there's many.
What is,
You gotta look at what your market demand is.
Yeah,
And you
and
gotta
what
size
around
study
here.
your policy, you gotta meet all, you can't just go, oh, I want. and, you know,
It
why
doesn't,
work
it doesn't
like
matter
that?
if we have any students that are in it.
Okay, so right now, Candace has a classroom. And that's it, it's just classroom.
Yes,
If
now, she's supposed to go out there in the ROTC part,
we, okay,
that building. She was supposed to go out there and, Sharon was supposed to go. out there.
She has just moved. She told me she was in the process of moving.
right now, Candace has got two classrooms,
Yes,
the one in the building and the one out there in Arkansas.
but I think the one out there is lacking. You know, but she needs that space because, you know, we've got beds, wheelchairs, you know, all these things because we try to make it authentic, you know. So she
I
needs
believe we
space.
could, I believe we could promote moving a nursing / sports medicine vocational program out there. And look at that. But James, you got questions, lively, have that kind of stuff, they do.
And in doing that, you know, they wouldn't have to offer the class. You said they send in instructor, what, 2 or 3 days a week, maybe?
There's much in that there.
Do we get a something workable on that?
Can.
Some kind of,
Mhm.
everything about this?
So is that kind of direction board y'all want me to go?
And
It's-
we just got, my concern, just me, we gotta keep it in that vocational realm. And you start tagging it with the football field house, I think you're gonna lose.
Yeah, but somebody knows that's football field house. Understand that these people don't know that. It's gonna be named whatever we want it to be.
Yeah, I understand that, Kevin, that's what I'm saying, got to be
Keep it
very
that way.
careful with our wording when we do this application.
I would like to know that, and the other building. When you talk to Greg, I guess y'all go out there and look at it,
Yes.
see, you know, some idea.
Yeah, so.
Renovations.
And again, we could, and just kind of play a little devil's advocate, you could still say that basketball pavilion, that's what we're gonna do, get plans drawn up and never really put that kind of scope of work into it.
Yeah.
You know, but I hate paying the money for the plan if you're not gonna do
Yeah.
a lot of money.
So
That's the scary part.
Ms. Lewis just come up with a good idea. The RTC is a vocational building. Could we use that building
As
with the
trying
field
to get it
house?
where it
We
needs
should
to
feed
be.
around, CRA did that, those plans.
Well, we need it.
So that's what I'm saying. She's saying that's gotta be finished
Yeah, it needs a lot.
for
Because
vocational.
it's not, from
Well,
what,
it's
you know,
not
I understand, not adequate.
That's what the bill just said, it's already on the list.
It's,
This-
yeah, it's
I
right here
know,
on
but
top.
use that as our project.
So we're saying it's already there.
Understand.
Okay, so let's look at that as our, if we go that direction, that's a good idea.
And
Now,
that's.
plans, CRA are, they the ones that did, feed around buildings in 09, I think, or 08, 08 or 09. So you've already got plans, you don't have to pay for that again. We need them to revamp them a little bit, and call it.
Vocational wing, vocational building.
It is.
And it was something that's got, hey, we moved it, and it needs completed.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, we're at $1 million.
Yeah, we could use that for.
That's a great-
Reimbursement, yeah,
Correct.
because that's what Jackson County did to get theirs.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
right.
So you use less than $1 million, we already got that bill.
$500,000 that we're, we're overspending is.
So that might be the best way to go. There. So I think that's it.
Who come up with that idea?
This
That's
one,
what-
And if we would have
She's not
approved
retired.
her profit extension, she wouldn't have said that.
I'm glad we hesitated to make her start thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's grinding on over there.
Or my kid.
That's over there, yeah.
That's a good idea, though.
That is a good idea.
Like Mr. Sewell said, take that building and do covered areas off of Tyler's and Craig's room and all that and make a big vocational program.
I mean, that could be off of that, and that wouldn't take that long, that coupled with the field house for vocation and
That'd be all
vocational
for
wing,
all
will be
that
a
we do.
vocation.
But also, yeah, I mean, that's.
I still think you could put a little bit of money in that pavilion and,
Oh, you can.
and close it off,
No
no house.
question about
Right. That thing needs to be used.
How soon can we have budgetary quotes on that?
After Friday, sometime probably next week.
it. On what you're talking about.
Just what your, the kind of plan on the ROTC building, I know you've got some numbers here, but
Well, we
like
gotta know,
on the pavilion.
somebody's gotta give us directions and what you want done before we can tell you how much it's gonna cost.
Well, we've got some of those on here.
200,000 right there, 210,000 already.
But.
So Ken said, what we can do is Friday, walk out there and say, what else needs, so to speak, and incorporate that in the plan.
So when you give Ms. Lewis, so what does Candace need? That's what I'm saying.
Right. What to put in it, what to put in it.
Yes, what to put in it, little receptacles, everything.
I
What?
think tomorrow, when we do our visit, we're gonna have even more ideas.
Yeah, because we're gonna visit some of that stuff. We'll see what theirs looks like.
Right, it's gonna help us to formulate, our plan.
Cause, just moving a location, Candace in there, she's got that stuff to work with.
Well, and that's what I was saying, like right now, she's just in a classroom. She really don't have
Right.
really what she needs to run that program.
And if she needs an extension, like Mr. Sewell said, it's much easier to go out and build 3 walls than it is 4,
Absolutely.
and just extend that out.
Right, this will be it.
This will be the,
Right, good ad.
and it's be all time vocational, everything.
And again, to kind of bring us back down to reality, we don't know how much funding. It might be, I don't think any less than 2 million. But it might be just $2 million. Yeah. That may be it.
So,
But it may be $5 million.
yeah, I would budget just
I'd say let's
$1 million.
conservative,
$1 million, but
be
For
conservative.
each of those, we need to think too, because he's gonna ask a lot of questions, like the narrative of what it's gonna be, and how we can sell that. 'cause I'm sure that's what he's
Well, we
gonna-
got a great narrative right now. This was a vocational building at the old site here. We pondered the possibility of building one just like it at the new high school, and it was cheaper. How much was it? And see, this is as far as the narrative, $1 million to move it, or $3.5 million to build it. So we decided to cut it in half. That costs money. We moved it over there, we relocated it, and it's not
finished.
it's not finished.
RTC.
It is not finished. And we are out of money.
From flooring to walls painted to, we can add all that in.
But then too, what would you use that additional space at the field house? What would that be used for?
Well, we wouldn't use that,
But have to usually just finish it, that's what extra money.
Right, we wouldn't use that as the project.
If you wanted to.
You
say-
gotta have one defined project, so
Yes.
what we're saying is use ROTC building as our defined project. And we know it needs, this might be a very easy.
And it needs.
Would you do the cover thing as part of that too?
You even throw in the woods.
Get 2 copies.
That
No,
way.
I'm just saying, it checks the boxes, we already got plans, we don't have to take them up front. It's got needs, we well defined that, and we got area for more programs in there, i.e.
Shows where we spent the money to move it, and put that in there as recovery, we need to be reimbursed for that, because we didn't have the money to build a new one like Jackson County. That's what they use their money in.
And you include any of that
Out
on
of 210,000, don't spend it like it is. You know, no improvement into sexual or.
Would you include any of that off of towers?
You could, you could add that.
Because then you could sell those other programs too. What would that covered area, how would you utilize that? How could it help?
I
If
still
it was
like.
me, I talked to him about the vocational, the RTC, I wouldn't include nothing else, because then you gotta do, if you want money to do any other stuff on this list, don't spend all your money, obligate $1 million, set your budget, or whatever y'all want, $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million. That's it, don't go over it.
And then don't put the vocational field house.
No, but
Yeah.
the money, how much ever you go.
Yeah, we did, I know that, we did, but don't put it in our plan.
No, the only plan will be the ROTC.
Okay.
That's right.
Gotcha, Bob.
Well, that's the thing, too, I guess, start with that, you can maybe see what Eric thinks. You can sell it, and then say, okay, well, what if we had this? Can you sell that?
Right.
You know,
I feel better about doing the ROTC deal because it is a vocational deal. That football thing, honestly, morally, I struggle with it.
well, until you, I don't think you wanna make it something, I don't think you wanna.
Yeah, I think RTC would be a great way.
If you go with the RTC.
I believe part of the narrative is that when you say this JROTC bill is vocational bill, which what it was, we call it JROTC bill, but it's actually vocational. I've had other things going on in there. It's pristine within this year. And it ain't no more. We need it, we've done through, I made all these changes that we need to fix.
And can y'all please put at the top of that list, mold treatment? Teachers are complaining, the teachers that have moved out there are complaining about their health. They didn't have health problems until they started going back out there. I mean, it's causing breathing problems.
It needs a lot of work. Yeah, and it might be more than.
Teachers and students.
RTC.
The wing y'all moved, it sat out there and got wet. I mean, there's mold. Mold treatment needs to be addressed big time out there.
It sure does.
Absolutely.
Because they can tell a significant difference since they've moved into that building
I've
with
not
their
heard that.
breathing.
I've not heard any of that.
Ask Sharon, ask Candace, ask some of the students.
Okay. I'm gonna look.
I don't know where it is in the building, but they have said they're concerned for their health.
I'll place it there, for old carpet.
Yeah.
And, it's on this change.
Right.
Check that out.
Yeah, that's a serious
So
concern.
is that, let's keep talking, this is good stuff.
Well, I think we'll go to RTC building. I feel more comfortable with that.
I do too.
I
Not
absolutely do.
just leaving it. But then you got 24 months. Spend 36 under emergency, which we don't know if we qualify for emergency. The 24 months spending, you do that for the RTC building, which it's not gonna take 24 months probably to finish that. But that 24 months worth, whatever's left, do we have time to do
We'll do it all at the
these
same time.
things?
You'll know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna be saying. We've been
You do
doing
it all
all
at the same
that.
time.
There's a lot of work in a lot of different areas.
Well, a lot of it will be determined by your final award.
What about
That's
this?
when you start prioritizing.
You would probably,
Yeah,
with something like that with students already in it too, you would have to wait till the summer to do that. You couldn't do it with
Well,
students there, but.
Well, like the flooring, yes, I mean, impossible. You could do that, you could do a lot of work in there since it's already there with students there.
I just, and let me go back and say something about prioritizing. We're looking at the ROTC building. It's a big element, just take one bite at a time, okay? So I think that this needs, if we're gonna go with the field house, and that is gonna be the next objective or happening at the same time, we need to state that, be very transparent about what we're doing as far as in our group and in the public, to let the public, hey, we're focusing on these things.
Right.
And if it's the field house, then let's focus on that field house. I mean, this list goes through softball bleachers, football, baseball.
I agree with that. I think go with what's not finished now,
Yes.
which would be the
Get that
ROTC bill and the field house. Those two items are undone.
Yeah, I think we try to do too many things,
Right.
there's a lot of things going on, and we all know that. We've got to, and
I
this
agree with
field
you.
house is such a sore subject.
It
I
is.
mean, it's terrible, so this will, it's definitely be a win-win. Yes,
Yeah,
girls
I agree.
soccer,
That's the
absolutely.
next.
Absolutely.
Finish the two field houses and
And you can
the
do that.
RTC money's gonna be gone. Probably.
Yeah.
Been
Do
there
the
a year,
girls
been
and
there.
that.
Yeah, I mean, we,
In the ROTC building, and they got some-
I think we gotta get Eric to sell this thing of price to make the RC. See
I agree.
what he's gonna do,
yes.
see what he feels about it. I mean, he's the one that does this.
Yeah, this is his job.
If he feels, comfortable with it, I feel that he feels more comfortable with it being.
You can tell him before.
Yeah, he's, he's a little hesitant. I think I could, but, it'd be much easier if I do it this way.
Right.
We need to let him know that and
So
see
Kyle,
what he says. Then,
Kyle, my timelines, I don't mean
once
to
we do
interrupt.
that, then we can start, back where we prioritize these things a while back, we can reprioritize it. And, still gonna be waiting for that February date if they award us $2 million, $3 million, $5 million, that makes a difference of how you're gonna prioritize.
That's right.
Just understand, we got to have some trucks and buses. I mean, people using their personal vehicles.
I think if we get, let's just say on the high end, if you got $4.5, $5 million, you're gonna be able to do a lot of stuff.
She, how much, and another thing too, during this time, if there's any bidding, if we do, that's a good time to go ahead and get these bids on the street and get them rolling. You don't have to award, it's all contingent upon availability of funding. So you can have all your bids set out there and be ready to go. So that would be good timing for you to do it right now.
Let me tell you something though, they won't stand behind, most people won't stand behind bids,
Goes
no
down
longer
fast.
30 days, so you're wasting your time.
But you're talking about construction, 9 times out of 10, a construction company right now, especially if we go ahead and we're very transparent with them,
They wouldn't do it on the highway,
they wouldn't hold it for more than 30
they
days.
wouldn't hold bids, we had to completely redo everything.
That's why some of the bids that were received were actually going to go with a higher person because the other people wouldn't rebid it.
And the only reason why we got all the funding on it is because I didn't explain that the reason why we didn't go for the, the lowest
Yeah,
bid, blah, blah, blah.
justification, yeah.
But that was the reason, but that.
That's first
This
thing.
is February, when do we expect to get the money?
Well, he said
Next
closing will
February.
start November, I thought February.
Next
And
February.
we issued it this first.
2022.
If we get everything together.
We're gonna have it.
I think the RTC definitely.
Yeah, I think you start there and see how it feels, and then if we need to add that cover area or, off of that.
Enhance our vocational program.
Right.
Get it up to date
And we can even put in there what we're planning, which we are. I mean, that's our trip tomorrow. These are some of the things we're doing. We're not in place a lot because we don't have a place to do it. This would be a blessing to. Because anything you can move out there, then that opens more opportunities in the high school.
You have those plans for the building.
Yes, yes, sir.
They're gonna have to be,
That's one of the biggest expenses.
they're gonna have to be tweaked a little bit.
Yes,
Most definitely.
Won't be as costly, like doing a whole new building.
I'll call Greg in the morning about that, and see how the availability of getting that, and being able to change some verbiage on it,
that's a lot less work on them
Yeah.
and a lot cheaper on us.
So like Kevin said, it's not gonna have on the plans what Sharon's here, Candace is here,
It's just showing the room.
it's a building,
That's right.
it's a building,
Wall.
and it is a vocational building.
How on your timeline here?
Yes, ma'am.
When are we doing, we can go to workshop to look over this plan that you're gonna put together or
Yeah, what I can do,
send it to us?
what I can do is send that, I can do a lot of legwork and us not come together, but come together when we need to make a decision.
Okay.
So. We've never done it before, so,
I know. It's a lot of work.
and I know y'all are available to meet, so I'll try to keep it, most of the stuff, in emails that we can, let y'all keep y'all abreast of the progress. And then on those things that we need to go ahead and make a decision, we can come back together and make that meeting happen. But I believe right now, we probably just got, if y'all tell me the direction tonight, that if we want to go with the ROTC building as a vacation building, then that gives me some direction to bring some stuff back. Is everybody feel good with that?
Yeah, good with it.
Sure.
Great idea.
Probably first thing, see if you can sell it there.
Right. I'm confident we can.
So we're right back in the vacation wing.
We'll make that number one, and if, I guess, number two, if we need to fall back from that, if we don't.
I think it's a solid number one.
Can't sell that,
Yeah.
one, probably won't be able to sell it.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
And then get back to this, and
I think this is it.
That's worth 6 months, is.
She just saved that pay, what she did. That guy's right.
That's right.
Right?
Oh, trust me, John Kramer and I have been through mold.
I think the first thing, and again, going back to the time frame for March, Sheila, if you can work on the past 3 years of audited financial statements, that's not, I mean, you have that pretty much readily available. And then this will be defining the project scope. We know what that is. Once I talk to Greg, I can let y'all know what, we kind of start putting the budget and a budget narrative together, Jody, you was asking about. That'll be done for March. And then he'll make a draft cut sheet for us to review. So probably the next time we could meet is be April.
Okay.
You know,
Have a workshop at the next regular.
maybe the next meeting, do a workshop at the meeting, which would be,
About that later,
13.
yeah.
I don't need to be
Need to wait
a letter of engagement.
We may need to,
We did have a workshop at the top there.
Yeah.
let me do this, let me talk to him again. Let's get Greg, and then I'll tell him to make some corrections in the letter. If y'all will take the next few days and go through that letter of engagement, I know I sent it to you, but now, review that. If there's anything that gives you heartburn, let me know, and I'll get him to resend it and make those corrections. I mean, just the two that stood out to me.
And Jackson's looking it over too. correct?
Jackson has a copy as well,
Okay.
but it's got Jackson Hospital on there, and there needs to be a spot for the board chair to sign. But I'll go through it and find.
Sheila, if you got a copy, you got this, so he's.
We may need to do a 8 o'clock meeting just to approve it. And then go ahead and sign off, so he knows we're on what
Yeah,
we're ready.
we can lock them in.
Yeah.
Now, there is some, I'll look it over, I'll give you my comments.
Any other questions?
let's go good.
I'm excited about it.
Thank you, Ms. Gay. Pulled us out the fire.
I told y'all we should name it, the Gay Lewis.
Vacation.
She's the one coming up with it.
Cheers. We'll put a picture of her. Didn't you say you got some glamour shots on that? Right. How many of y'all got glamour shots? Jody, got any glamour shots?
Yeah.
Jody? Jason?
Yeah.